Let us today learn about conflict of interest. In ethics, it is very important to understand what do we mean by conflict of interest. Conflict of interest means if you see in day-to-day life also, suppose you have two options. You are doing a research, but suddenly someone gives you a option that if you manipulate the findings, you will have the benefit of promotion. That means your primary interest is to a research, but your secondary interest become more advantageous because you are going to get a promotion. Conflict of interest have always occurred in scientific research, but did not catch the public attention until 1980s when the relationship between private companies and academic institutions intensified due to a part to legislative changes that encourage technology transfer from public to the private sector, as well as information and growth of biotechnology, pharmaceuticals, computers, and other key technologies. If you see over the time with the advancement of technology, many things are happening in the area of research. Concern about relationship between private companies and academic institutions in 1999 when Jesse Gelsinger died during the phase 1 gene therapy experiment at the University of Pennsylvania. Food and Drug Administration official investigating the case found problems with reporting the adverse event. That means the adverse events were not disclosed and Gelsinger had to inadequately inform about the potential risk. The researcher James Wilson, the principal investigator in the experiment, had 30% of the stock in Genovo, a company that contributed $4 million a year to a university non-profit foundation which sponsored the research, and university also had a stock in the Genovo company. So you can see the conflict of interest was there of the PI and of the university both. So this is actually the example of the conflict of interest. Given the prevalence of potential for conflict of interest in research across industries due to external sponsorship as well as the evidence that these conflicts do in fact shift the research findings in favor of industry sponsored, it is increasingly evident that conflict of interest poses a severe threat to credibility of the research. A conflict of interest exists when two or more contradictory interests relates to an activity by an individual or institution. The conflict lies in the situation, not in the behavior. This means conflict of interest is not intrinsically a bad thing, but it can be taken care of if it is disclosed. The conflict of interest in research refers to a situation in which financial or other personal consideration may compromise or have the appearance of compromising a researcher's professional judgment in conducting or reporting the findings. So you can see how the findings get compromised in this research. The conflict of research interest are situations in which financial or other considerations may compromise or have appearance of compromising a investigator's judgment in conducting or reporting the research. This is given by various organizations over the world. Example, conflict between financial gain and meticulous completion and reporting of the research study, or between responsibilities and investigator or a treating physician for the same trial. So you can see conflict of interest not only occurs when anyone is doing a research, but even during the treatment of a patient, it can be there.